Friends, today is Thursday, the 3rd of December, and it's the feast of St. Francis Xavier. Francis Xavier, the great Jesuit missionary of the Far East. Francis Xavier was one of the founding members of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order, and a great missionary with a real thirst for the salvation of souls. And so we celebrate his feast today. On this Advent morning, we come together, and once again, our readings begin with the prophet Isaiah, and looking ahead to the words of the prophet and their fulfillment in the gospel. It seems that the common denominator between our two readings today is a rock. You know, I've spoken about rocks before. The metaphor of God is like a rock. And I never really came to appreciate it so much until I visited some rocks last summer on vacation. I was in Utah at Canyonlands and Arches National Parks, and not only saw how solid rocks are, but how beautiful they are. And that beauty has enhanced my appreciation of every time we hear the words of rock in the scriptures. And there are many, including this morning. Prophet Isaiah, it says, "For the Lord is an eternal rock." The Lord is an eternal rock. And the gospel tells us the wise man who built his house on rock, a firm foundation, is one that can withstand any storm, any earthquake, any troubles that come. And these days, of course, are troubled times. We need to hear these words. The gospel is taken from the very end of Matthew's Sermon on the Mount that begins with, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." And the final words, we have the final words where it says, "Those who hear these words and act upon them," are like those who build a house on solid rock. And the prophet Isaiah looks forward to the days when the words of this sermon are lived. When human institutions and anything that is constructed by us falls apart because it's built on sand. Think of the foundations you have, some of which are not on stone. You know, we think about all of our human weaknesses, all the things we depend on. Most of them cannot give us anything and will not withstand the troubles and the tensions. They're all built on sand. And so we look ahead to solid rock. And Isaiah looks forward to the days when the words of the Sermon on the Mount, including the Beatitudes, "Blessed are the poor," are fully lived, and not just in word, but in action. Gospel today says, not everyone who says, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom, but those who hear and act. You know, I've said before that the word love, even Christianity, those are action words. And they even distinguish us, at least traditionally, from our Protestant brothers and sisters who speak of sola fide, faith alone. Catholics say that faith must be matched with action. And if we act upon them, then we are built on solid stone. Again, Isaiah looks forward to the time when the great reversals of the kingdom will come, when the mighty are cast down and the poor and the needy are raised up. Isaiah says that he humbles those, the Lord, the rock, humbles those in high places, and the lofty city he brings down. The lofty city. He tumbles it to the ground, levels it with dust. It is trampled upon underfoot by the needy, by the footsteps of the poor. The great reversals, the time, the messianic times when those who have nothing will have everything. And those who hear the words and act upon them will be those built on solid rock. And we look forward to those messianic times during this Advent season, the coming of the Lord in history, the coming of the Lord in the end, the second coming of the Lord. Those who act upon these words. You know, I've said before that I enjoy looking at construction sites, and especially those of tall buildings, and to see how deep they dig for those foundations to hit solid rock, so that nothing, no earthquake, no wind, no storm can knock that building down. It's a good metaphor for us as Christians, as Catholics, to think of our own solid foundation, a solid foundation on rock, that even through these troubled times, and these are times full of tension and unpredictability, even during these times, you put that foundation down and nothing will move you. We surrender. In essence, we surrender to God, the rock. And the God, the rock, will lead us forward and keep us safe, keep us solidly founded. Nothing will shake us. Hold that thought, God, our rock, and we'll see you tomorrow.